Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. So today we're going to have a look at how we can use a Bazi chart to get rid of toxic people in our lives. And that could be an employee, it could be a friend that is just kind of using you and never bringing something to the table. It could even be a toxic romantic relationship and you don't know how to get out of that. And ideally, obviously, we don't want to get into a fight with these people. We just want them to leave, yeah, without necessarily having a big confrontation. And with Bazi astrology, you can actually see what will put off people to such an extent that they will just leave without even an argument or without making too much fuss. They're just going to leave if you give them a certain sort of treatment, or if you don't give them what they desire. So that would be the ideal. So rather than engaging in a massive long argument that makes everything even more toxic, just know what triggers them and then use that against them, so they just find it too much trouble to even deal with you and they leave by themselves. So as I said, you can use this with employees. You can use this with even family members, friends, or romantic partners, anybody who is really toxic and makes your life difficult. All right, so let's have a look what we actually need to do. The first thing, obviously, is that you need to plot the Bazi chart of the person in question. So you can go to this link and just enter their date of birth. It's not necessary to know the hour. It's really just the date of birth that is needed. And once you have plotted the chart, you will get something like this. And the key element that we are focusing on in this particular analysis is what we call the day master. So this is the day pillar and the stem here. We call this, as metaphysics practitioners, the day master. And so depending on which day master a person is born with, we can then disperse a certain type of treatment to get rid of them in the least confrontational way possible, yeah, if you will. So this one here, let's say if it is a Jia wood, yeah, so the yang polarity of wood. The Jia wood is kind of, you need to imagine it like a tree. So it's a big tree. It's a tree stem. It's a very immovable sort of person that can also be very stubborn. But if you're imagining a tree is an object or a plant that basically it absorbs. Yeah, in order to grow, it needs to absorb. It needs to absorb water. It needs to absorb sunlight. All of this. So all they know is to absorb. So in order to get rid of these people, is you need to actually make them absorb something that is bad for them. And I'm not talking about actual poison. Yeah, please don't do that. What I'm talking about is you need to give them false information. Wait until there is a moment where they really need information, valuable information, for them to succeed in a project or in life or in anything, and then give them false information or just spread rumors and divert their attention. Make sure that they don't know that it's you, yeah, otherwise they will come back and haunt you. So we don't want that. But make sure that you feed them false information in whichever way possible. That will make them very vulnerable. And so eventually that will break them. Yeah, they don't really have a very good ability to filter information unless they train themselves. So if you yourself are a Jia wood day master, you need to learn to filter information much more carefully. Otherwise you fall victim to a lot of false rumors, gossip, scams, or whatever. So but if you are in a position where you need to get rid of a Jia wood person, feed them gossip, feed them false information, feed them rumors, they will spread those rumors and will make themselves and will discredit themselves. Yeah, so no one will take them seriously anymore, and eventually they will just drift out of your life. Yeah, so this is Jia wood. If your opponent, so to speak, is a Jia wood individual. Now, if it is an E wood individual, so here the yin polarity of wood, then this is a little bit different. They are very social people. Yeah, so they constantly need to be surrounded by people. They're the mediators. They love to socialize. They're also very manipulative. So if you want to get rid of them, you just give them the silent treatment. Yeah, don't give them the chance to feel appreciated. Don't even lay an eye on them. Just pretend they are not there. Play the Cold War with these people. And do not give them the chance to express themselves. So in a business setting, in a meeting, ask everybody else for their opinion, but not them. And eventually they will resign and leave. Yeah, because they need to be appreciated. They need to feel like they're part of the team. At the moment they don't feel part of the team for an extended period of time, they will just pack up and leave. So this is what you do, and obviously this also works in different contexts, but most of the times this comes in handy when it's a toxic employee that you're dealing with, and you don't really have grounds to fire them. So this is just play the Cold War with them, make them feel unappreciated, and you will get rid of them. Then we've got Bing fire people. So if the day master is the yang polarity of fire, Bing fire. Now, Bing fire people, they do get fulfillment through close connections with others. They are givers. Yeah, they thrive of emotional availability. They're very caring. So if you need to get rid of someone like this, not because they're caring, but maybe they have some other toxic traits that are really not very helpful. If this is a person you need to get rid of in that sense, then you need to stop giving them affection or care. You need to stop giving them emotional support. Do not allow them to reach out to you. Do not care about them or show them any care or affection. Yeah, just walk away from them, especially when they are upset. Yeah, usually when they are upset, they want others to come and pamper them and really be understanding and caring. If you then withdraw yourself from that situation and you do that repeatedly, they will leave. Yeah, you need to show them that you don't care at all, no matter what they do. Yeah, so this is for the Bing fire. Then we've got the Ding fire. So that would be the yin polarity of fire. So they are very, very similar as the Bing fire, because both are of the fire element, and fire is very, very warm. But the slight difference with the Ding fire is that they thrive of not just intimacy and emotional connection, but they also need to feel a very, very strong sense of belonging, and they get that by knowing everything about everything. They feel safe when they know everything that is going on. So if you want them to like you, you tell them everything and report everything. And conversely, if you want them to just leave, if you just want them to go away, keep them totally out of the loop. Yeah, don't tell them about your life. Don't tell them about what's going on with you. Just kind of not ignoring them, but give them the sense that you don't trust them. Yeah, stop explaining everything to them or anything at all. Don't tell them anything. Don't let them win, and just remove them from the action, whether that be at work or in your personal life. Just don't tell them anything about you anymore, and they will lose that sense of belonging. They will lose that sense of closeness, and then eventually they will just disappear from your life and move on to someone who is much, much more open and tells them more about themselves, what's going on, or even just in business, yeah, not keeping them in the loop will also turn them off. Now, the next one is Wu Earth. There we go. So that is the yang polarity of Earth. Now, people with Wu Earth, they thrive on security and consistency and safety. And even when they get angry, they're usually quite composed. They manage to smile even when they're angry. And so a lot of times their greatest strength is actually their poker face. So if you want to trigger a Wu Earth and make them feel really, really insecure and unstable, you kind of threaten that sense of security. So try to stir them up. You need to plant something explosive in their life. Make sure they don't know that it's you. Plant something explosive in the situation. You need to stir shit up, essentially. You need to make them feel unstable whenever they are around you. Create trouble in their lives through their boss, through their co-workers, through their employees, parents, children, spouse, friends, whatever. Make sure that they kind of get the sense that whenever you're around, things get a little bit inconsistent, unstable, insecure, and that will induce enough anxiety for them to just don't want to have you in their lives anymore. So they will just remove themselves, and obviously you will be rid of them as well. So that is Wu Earth. Make them feel unstable in the situation. Then we've got the Zi polarity, the Yin polarity of Earth. That is Zi Earth here. And similar to the Ding fire, they also find fulfillment through belonging and acceptance and self-esteem. Yeah, so they need a sense of identity. And if you want to keep them around, you make sure that they always have a sense of belonging. You make them feel important, and you give them a certain sort of status in your life. But if you want to get rid of them, you just don't acknowledge them. Yeah, make them feel invisible. Make them feel like they're an outcast, and they will try to justify themselves and make themselves seen. So just ignore them. Yeah, challenge them and remind them that they do not belong in this company or in this circle of friends, in this relationship, whatever. You do that until their heart eventually drifts away to an environment that is more nurturing for them. Yeah, so just again, remove the sense of belonging. Very, very similar than the Ding fire. So just kind of challenge them all the time and make them feel like they are always the odd one out. If you make them feel like the odd one out, eventually they'll just find this way too much effort, and they're just going to leave. And of course, this works especially well in a company, in a corporate environment. Then we've got people who have a gung metal day master. Now, gung metal, that's the yang polarity of metal, and they usually find fulfillment through being in control and having a certain sense of power and authority, and they do like to take action. Now, the thing with gung metal is that they often fall for people who seem like the victims. They fall for a damsel in distress. Yeah. So if you play the vulnerability game, pretend to be the victim, and then let them stand up for you, they will be distracted from the real issue. And especially if then in the end it turns out that you didn't need any help at all, they will then get the sense that you took advantage of their ability to take action and execute and implement a certain strategy. Yeah, so trigger them into impulsive decisions that will be their downfall. Yeah, trigger them into helping others that don't even need any help, and so they're completely distracted from whatever it is you are doing. And the more often this happens, the more they will withdraw from you, because they will realize that all you bring is distraction, and you will get them off their path, so they will just disappear. All right, so that is the gung metal. Then the next one we have sin metal. That is the yin polarity of metal here. Now, the sin metal people, they want to shine. Yeah, they want to be recognized, they want to be respected, they want to be praised, they want to have their voice heard, and they love it when they get complimented, be that on their work or on their appearance or on whatever it is that they did. Yeah, they need small but meaningful gestures. So if you give sin metal person a flower, they will really appreciate that. Or if you do small things for them, they will really appreciate that. They are extremely face valued people. So the moment you make them look bad in front of other people, the moment you humiliate them in front of others, or you make them lose face, they will essentially cut you out of their life. And you just have to do this once. Yeah, that's all it takes. Humiliate them once in front of people and they will cut you out of their life. And if this is exactly what you want, then obviously this works for you. So they really, anything that they feel is a show of disrespect towards them, they take to heart to such an extent that they're just going to walk away from the situation. Yeah, and they won't turn back. Once they cut the cord to a particular personal situation, they're not going to come back. All right, so that is the sin metal. Then we've got Ren water. Ren water here, that is the yang polarity of water. And Ren water people, they like adventure, they like variety, they like everything that is exciting. And so if you want to keep them around, that's what you give them. If you want to get rid of them, you just be the most boring person on the planet. Yeah, if you dislike them, you just make their life as boring as possible, whether that be in a relationship or in a friendship or in an employment situation. You just give them the most boring work, and they will move on to something much more exciting and intriguing. Yeah, so that's all you need to do. Just make their life boring and they will leave. That's all. It's very simple. So this is one of the easiest things to do. It doesn't involve any sort of backstabbing. It doesn't involve any sort of action that you may regret at a later point. Just be boring, and they will disappear. All right, and then lastly we have the kui water. Yeah, that's the yin polarity of water. And they the kui water people, they like freedom, they like independence, they like creativity and spontaneity. So if you withdraw them from them, and if you make them stick to rules, strict rules, they will walk away. The more confined they are, the more limitations and boundaries you put up for them, the more uncomfortable they will be. If you restrict their freedom, they will leave. Yeah, essentially. So they are generally not the kind of people who can work in a company that has hundreds and hundreds of strict rules. They will not like that. So the more you do that, be that in a relationship or a friendship, if everything becomes a rule, they will just leave. They find something else to do. So both Ren water and Kui water are relatively easy in that sense to get rid of, as long as you know exactly how to make life either very boring or extremely restricted. Yeah, so that would be quite easy. All right, so this is how you get rid of toxic people. Now, please don't use that just for fun because someone upset you. It's really just for those types of people that for some reason you know that they're not good for you, but for some reason you don't seem to be able to remove them from your life. So try to use these tactics, but really only on people that actually bring a lot of pain to your life or bring a lot of unnecessary struggle to your life, not just because you're upset with someone once, because these kind of actions actually carry long-term repercussions. All right. So I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, as usual, get in touch with me. My email address is in the notes below. You can also comment on this post. And I would really appreciate it if you liked, if you subscribe to the channel, if you shared this video with anybody who may have toxic people in their lives and really doesn't know how to get rid of them. Try this method and let me know how it works. See you soon.